Kittens. You have to really be a little bit old to know where that's from. I think that was from American Bandstand or something else. I can't really remember. If you are watching on Facebook, I would actually prefer if you watch on YouTube. I really don't care. I'm going to get your comments either way, but I'm really trying to lift up that YouTube thing. Especially, I'm trying to grow my YouTube subscribers, and I am shamelessly plugging my YouTube channel all the time if possible. So if you could watch there, that would be cool. But you know what? You're on Facebook. I ain't gonna complain. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday, August 13th. Man, we are well past the middle of the year and just about past the middle of August. Eighth month, right? Eighth month, and then September, and then October, where we got Halloween and some other events going on. And my time just keeps on going. And I don't know about you, but man, it just feels like the older I'm getting, time is just not slowing down. It isn't. It's just moving fast. It feels like Monday morning to me. That's the time frame I'm in. I just don't realize everything I've done since 8 o'clock Monday morning until now. It's just blowing right by me. So I don't know if that's an age thing. I don't know if I've got some psychological issues. I don't know if I have something going on there. Anyways, that's weird. Time is blasting really, really fast. For those of you that are watching for the very first time, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Patrick Allmond. I run a marketing automation company called Stop Doing Nothing Media, where we are high-level CRM experts, and we are just generally really good at lead generation and marketing automation and slipping a little bit of AI in there. I would never say I'm an AI expert right now, but I'm getting there. There are people that spend a lot more time on it than I do, and I learn from those people. Um, I have to say I'm particularly happy about the thumbnail from today's show. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, the Hamilton thumbnail. I'm using a lot of AI right these days to generate images, and I've got this cool little avatar I use on Google Whisk, and I told it to generate an image based on Hamilton. Um, I would not say I'm a Hamilton super fan, but I'm up there in the scale. So like if you have the people who have seen Hamilton once over here, and then the people who like dress up as Hamilton to go to the show, probably a little bit above center. Like you pick any song on Hamilton, I've got the lyrics, especially One Last Time by the Broadway version by Christopher Jackson. That song gets me. That song really does get me, especially if you go watch the version that the OBC original Broadway cast Hamilton did at the White House. I mean, Christopher Jackson delivers that one last time to President Obama in a room towards, I think it's the end of Obama's second term. So man, just hearing that song one last time about gracefully leaving a post, especially a high post like the president, it just really gets you there and just reminds you of the good old days of happy, friendly politics. So yeah, so that's what was that inspired there. And plus, in the room where it happens, I've had a philosophy well before Hamilton came out that is the way to run your life and the way to run your business as much as possible. And so when Hamilton came out and that song in the room where it happens, um, which is again one of my it might be my second or third favorite song on the soundtrack. That speaks to me. That theme speaks to me. And so as I was working on the topic, as I was thinking last night and this morning, what topic do I want to do? It's like, oh, this topic's always in the back of my mind because it matters. It matters every single day being in the room where it happens. And it's not just, kind of musical stuff. Excuse me while I don't look at the camera and I rearrange my notes here a little bit, but it just matters in life in general and in business and so many things. So many leaps and bounds in my business have happened just by being in the right place at the right time. That one is called like luck meets opportunity, right? But you have to put yourself, wait, no, right place. What is luck? Right place, right time. Being at the right place and the right time, okay? to be to get into the right place, you have to give yourself more exposure. You have to put yourself in those places, okay? What you're going to learn through the theme of this show. We've got 30 minutes here, and I'm already down to 9:08. I'll probably go a little bit past 9:30. What you're going to learn, and what I want to emphasize to you, and I'm going to show you some examples that have mattered to me, that have basically changed the course of my business and my life, is just being in the right place at the right time. But this is not something that you have to. This is not something you can just rely on to happen. Okay, you can't trip and fall into luck. You may on occasion, you may trip and fall and stub your toe, and then while you're down there crying over your toe, in the what was the Family Guy way, ooh, as you're doing that, you may find a lottery ticket that's worth $1 million. Okay, that can happen. However, it doesn't happen on a regular basis, and it doesn't happen very frequently. Is it just me? Am I talking really fast? It feels like I'm talking really fast. Where's my freaking mouse cursor there? Um, I just had my first sip of coffee. Mm. Okay, Patrick, take a deep breath. Slow down. Slow down. My goal today, though, is to show you that I want you to walk away from this trying to figure out how you can put yourself in more rooms where things happen. Okay. It could be networking, it could be conferences, it could be particular Zoom calls. It could be anything. But if you want more luck, you're going to have to roll the dice more. Okay. You can't win at the craps table at the casino if you're not rolling the dice. I'm a craps player, trust me, I know. But you also can lose a lot by rolling the dice. But yeah, that's life. You're rolling the dice every single day. Every single day, you're rolling the dice and you're hoping good things happen to you. But the more frequently you roll the dice, the better the odds are. Okay? That's why at a craps table, it's kind of funny at a craps table, people love the game when it's going really fast because you know why? There's more opportunities, but there's also more risk. That's what happens. More opportunity, more risk. But anyways, I was very happy with the topic choice today. And like I said, I'm a huge, huge, huge Hamilton super fan. I want to start off actually with a quote, part of the lyrics of that song. For those of you that have never seen it, and for those of you who have seen it, you're going to love these lyrics. There is a quote in this song in Hamilton that says, there's a lyric by Lin-Manuel towards the end of the song, and it says, "When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game, but you don't get a win unless you play in the game." There's no chance of you winning if you're not networking, if you're not putting yourself in the rooms. That's what that line means. You don't get a win unless you play in the game. Oh, you get love for it, or you get hate for it, but you get nothing if you wait for it. I love that line. You get nothing if you wait for it. So, what that means is you got to play. If you stand on the sidelines, nothing's going. If you stand on the sidelines, there is a 0% chance of you winning. Okay? If you get involved, the chances of you winning are good, and the chances of you sometimes losing are good. But if you stand on the sideline, the way a craps table works, you got all the players are on the craps table, and the people that are one layer back that are learning and wondering, and they're like, oh, that's a risky game. I don't want to play that. Those people will never win. And I'm just using that as an analogy. There's so many great analogies, especially in the past probably 30 days. I've got some really good examples I want to talk to you about, and that's again why I picked this topic today. And this is really focused on those of you who want to do big aspirational things with your businesses. If you're a brand new entrepreneur, if you've been in business, 2 to 5 years, these are the kind of things you need to hear is to put yourself more in the rooms where you're happening, because no one's coming to hand stuff out to you. I've talked before. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to hand you luck. No one's going to knock on your door today and hand you a business opportunity. No one's going to knock on your door today and hand you good health, or hand you a big giant $1 million contract. Okay, a couple of things. Why do you want to be in the room where it happens? It makes people aware that you even exist. Okay, and this is one that I've won on a lot just by being, definitely by being in the room, but not even by being outstanding. Okay. A lot of what we do in our world of business and marketing is just awareness, just making sure people even know that we exist. That's very much TOF. I've talked about this before. Business funnels, right? You've got the top up here. The top of a funnel is wide. I'm looking at the camera here. The top of the funnel, we can go almost full screen here. The top of a funnel is very wide. This is awareness. You want this to be as big as possible, because the bigger this is, the bigger this will be down here. Okay? The more you fill your top of funnel with awareness, with ads, with, in the world of digital marketing, ads, funnels, blogging, content, you don't think I do these videos just because I like seeing my face on camera. I probably do, but don't tell anybody. But this to me is awareness for my business. Writing a blog post is awareness for my business. These are strategic things that I'm doing. And if I'm lucky, they're fun. And I love talking to you. So that's a big reason why you want to be in the room where it happens is just awareness. And I've made money just by showing up in a room where there was nobody else in the room that did what I did or that knew what I knew. And there were people in that room that's like, hey, we're looking for an SEO guy. We're looking for an ad guy. We're looking for a new marketing agency. If I'm the only marketing agency in the room full of business owners, psh, it's mine for the taking. It's going to rain leads for me. Okay, that's one of the big reasons why you want to be in the room where it happens. But also, and this is one of the examples I'm going to talk about as we move on through here, it also gives you a voice. Okay. And you see this a lot in politics. And possibly one of my regrets in life is not being more involved in politics, especially as we see the way things are right now. I kind of wish that when I was younger, I'd gotten into politics, but it's just one of those topics that I remember ever since a teenager being just really annoyed by politicians and the game they play. Yeah, I mean, look what Charles said right here. Let's put this up on the screen. You know, it's always fun when you got a mouse and it's going by in the room. This is a good friend of mine, Charles Higgins, who runs Pinnacle AI. I have been blessed by opportunities just from unapologetically showing up at any opportunity I can. Okay. In the world of business, there are business owners out there right now looking for what you are selling. There are. I'm here in Oklahoma City, someplace down Northwest Expressway at some of the skyscrapers or downtown. There's a business owner someplace just saying, "Man, I wish we had a CRM. Man, I wish we had more leads. Ugh, I wish we knew someone that knew how to run ads." They're sitting up there. They're just begging. They're just waiting for someone to show up to help them. Okay? They're waiting for you. In your city, in your state, there's just people waiting. And if you show up in the room, they're like, oh, it's a blessing. Charles showed up. We were looking for a guy who had a really good CRM. Thank goodness Charles Higgins showed up. It's an easy win. And it's almost an easier win for Charles because he's not showing up with a bunch of other people. He doesn't know going into a particular opportunity or a particular room. Um, but the chances of somebody being in the same room as Charles selling what Charles is selling is pretty low. So if he puts himself in an environment where there's a lot of business owners that have a pain point, because that's what we do. Charles and I do similar things. We solve people's pain. Okay. We solve people's pain of being disorganized and not having a good lead flow and a good CRM. So we're in very similar fields. And I use Charles a lot for my business ideas and for my model. The man is just brilliant. But man, just being in the room, and I know I'm really harping on this, but I just think in my life, I mean, I'm not a spring chicken. Okay. I just think in my life of how many times I've just been in a room and someone saying, hey, well, you know, we have a very casual conversation, the elevator conversation, a 30, 60-second pitch. And someone's like, hey, I was looking for someone like you. This just happened not too long ago. Okay. I'm going to start to get into the examples. And these examples I want you to take forward and I want you to take some notes and I want you to figure out how you can put yourself in more rooms. Okay. I was at I was at an event recently, and several great opportunities came out of this event. I've talked to you before about the I live in Oklahoma City, and I drove down to Dallas to attend a Billy Cox event where a new friend of mine, Billy Cox, was speaking, and a longtime friend of mine, Thomas Keenan from Step It Up Academy, was speaking. Thomas is also in the CRM space. And obviously, it was a business coaching event. I met all kinds of cool people. But in one of the breakout sessions I went to, there was a gentleman sitting behind me, and I think his name is Matt Kern. He's in my CRM. I have to look him up. I think his name was Matt Kern. In the room there were obviously a lot of business owners, and I think there were about two or three other people I knew that were in my space. Because a lot of the event, if you're going to go to a business conference, a lot of times people there are in marketing and they're looking for leads. Um, uh, and I was sitting behind Matt Kern or something, and the conversation came up I'm very vocal at every class. I just can't help it. And at some point in time, I got to spit out what I was doing. I do this, this, and this. I focus a little bit more on the real estate world because I have background there. And as the class wrapped up, the Matt who sat in front of me, Matt Kern, just turned around and gave me a business card. He's like, dude, I'm in Oklahoma. He's in North Dallas. If you know geography, he's up in the Denton area, which is between Oklahoma City and Dallas. Matt Kern turned around and just gave me his card. He's like, I have an audience that needs what you do, Patrick. Let's talk on Monday. This happened on Saturday. So this happened on not this past Saturday, probably about 2 or 3 Saturdays ago. I didn't ask Matt. I didn't even know Matt before he turned around and gave me his business card. I had stated to the room when I did. I don't think we did introductions, but just somehow it came out. Patrick Allmond does this, just because Patrick Allmond doesn't know how to shut up sometimes. But hey, oh well. I eat well. I'm not afraid of opening up my mouth. But yeah, Matt turned around and gave me a business card. Matt and I had a Zoom call last week, and we're going to figure out how to work together. We're going to figure out how I can get into his audience and share my marketing solutions and my CRM with his audience. A large group of realtors in Denton, Oklahoma, who are completely disorganized in their marketing. He teaches them things and he talks about CRMs. He talks about organization. He already knows they have pain points. So here we are. Wonder Twin Powers activates. Yes, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. Here's Patrick, smart guy, has a solution. Here's Matt Kern, smart guy who teaches and has classes for people that want to buy what Patrick is selling. Turn me into a bucket of water. Turn me into whatever, a monkey. No, the monkey was the other character. I can't remember. Did they turn into the monkey or was a monkey one of the other characters? I can't know. Either way, Wonder Twin Powers. Matt and I are going to hook up and do amazing, amazing things together. Okay? There's some other examples here I really wanted to run through. Like I said, I really wish I had done more with politics. I do have one political win. There was a bill that I had my name that I didn't have my name on it, but had my input to it, and it was based on a different news story that I did because I've done several news stories with the local media about something that wasn't really kosher or didn't work well for local businesses. And I actually got to go up to the Capitol. Literally, you talk about being in the room. I got to go up to the Capitol and talk to my reps one on one and sit down and work on the verbiage for the bill, and the bill passed. Okay, that's my one political win, if you will. Okay, I always love going up to my Capitol. It's not too far away, and you just learn so much about the game. Okay, I love going to the game. So that's the one political one I have. But here are some other examples of me being in the room where it happened that have really kind of changed the game for me. Okay, um, uh, early on in my business, not early on, I was in maybe 4 or 5 years. I can't remember how long I've been an entrepreneur, but I was traveling out of the Oklahoma City airport, the Will Rogers International Airport here, because Oklahoma City is known for its international travel. And I love telling this story. And this was securities was much easier then. This was definitely pre September 11th and pre TSA. And I remember being talk about politics. This is kind of funny. I remember being in this line. I can still envision it. Seeing the remember back in the day when all you had to do was go through like a simple metal detector. Yeah. So we were in the long line for the metal detector, and there was a lady in front of me named Nancy. And I remember several people in front of us. I don't remember it was three, four, five, maybe 10. We both recognized a local politician, and it was kind of funny. Nancy and I were kind of ranting on about the line, and I pointed out. I remember the conversation. I pointed out that, oh, you know what? Even the politicians have to wait in the line here. Either way, so Nancy and I started getting chummy, and I found out Nancy worked for a government organization. I believe it was the VA, and then I told her what I did. It was it was at the time it was custom software development in ASP, I believe. Talk about nerdy. That's when I got into software development. Actually, I got into software development a lot earlier. This was ASP before I even knew what ASP.NET was. Whew, Patrick, put your nerd cloak away. So Nancy and I, we just kind of introduced each other, didn't exchange really any information, name, and chatted. We got through security, bada, whatever. So we got through security. And I remember after security at some point in time, I actually ran into her again. And she said, Patrick, I just remembered we are going to have some tech software development needs coming up. Do you have a card so I can call on you? And if Patrick was ready, I had cards, and I didn't even follow up with her, if I'm not mistaken. I remember getting a call when I got back from that business trip. I was probably on the road for a week or two, and it was Nancy, and she's like, "Come to downtown Oklahoma City and have a meeting with us so we can talk about this with my staff." So, man, I went down there with my friend Morgan, sat in a room with these VA people, and they were like, "We have this software development project. Can you do it?" I don't remember the specifics of it. And the answer was, "Yeah, let me work on a quote for that." Keep in mind, this is government work, okay? For those of you who've done government work before, you know that you usually have to be on a GSA contract to get government work. I had no GSA contract. I wasn't even thinking of marketing the government. But fast forward, it took about a day. I think I called back Nancy later in the day after the meeting with a price, and she's like, "Sure, let's get started." And I'm not going to go into revenue numbers, but yeah, I basically fell into a government contract. But it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't vocal in the security line. It wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in the room being the airport where it happened. So that is one of my better examples. That contract went on to make me just under $1 million. Okay. Just by Patrick being vocal, Patrick networking, Patrick putting himself in an opportunity. Let's do some other examples here so I can get you out of here by 9:30. Um, so that conference I was at, that Billy Cox conference I was at, not only did I end up networking with this gentleman named Matt Kern I told you about earlier. um, I actually sat down with a business coach who was attempting to sell me something. Beautiful, brilliant woman who was attempting to sell me something, and I sit down with her, and she goes, "Patrick Almond, I know you. I watch your YouTube stuff. I love what you put out there." And it was actually specifically having to do with high level, for my high level people, for my high level fam that is watching here. She's like, "Patrick, I've learned stuff from you from high level." Fast forward, since then, we've talked about a couple of leads. So I am her go to high level person now. And she is somebody who works and closes coaching clients. Who are they? They're entrepreneurs. She loves my YouTube stuff. She may even be watching. She loves my work, and she's already referring me business. Okay. So I drove down to Dallas. Those are the two business opportunities I remember about. I generated several more leads, and that wasn't my goal. It just happens wherever I go. But those are the two strongest ones I remember. Being in the breakout room with Matt, who just turned around and handed me a card, and this other lady, Myrna, who is basically feeding me leads now. Because why? Number one, I was in the room where it happened. But number two, I was on YouTube. I could probably do a whole show about the business that being on YouTube has brought me. YouTube is a room, another room where it happened. Let's keep moving on. Um, oh, two here, and Charles, you're gonna like this one. So I started attending the product calls a little bit more for the tool which I'm certified in, which is the high level CRM. And I've noticed this is probably a smaller example, but I've noticed that my voice and the voices of the people that attend these meetings are the ones that are guiding the direction of the product. Okay. Charles, for example, when a developer pops up and says, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this, this, and this," I will pop in, or Charles will pop in, or somebody else will pop in and say, "Well, that's not really what we want to use the product for. That's not a really good use case. Here's a good use case." And you can see the developers as Charles is talking, or as other people are talking, the developers are taking notes, and they're going to use that to guide the direction of the product. So in 2, 3 months, when a feature comes out and it works a certain way, how to get that way? It got that way from the Charleses of the room and the Patricks of the room and the other people who were in the Zoom room where it happened. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a physical room. Sometimes it can be a Zoom room. Okay? We are guiding the product direction. Charles attends every single call religiously. I try to dump into 2 or 3 a week. But when in a month or two, when I go in and there's a new menu option, or a drop down works a certain way, or a box or a radio button works a certain way, it will come from the people being in the room. And what's amazing is this product has hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of users now. If I'm not mistaken, Charles, correct me, I think less than 100 people show up to determine the product direction. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was somewhere between 60 and 90 that show up. And that's usually 4 or 5 developers, like a product manager and 4 or 5 developers. So less than 100 people are guiding the direction, the software development direction of the ship. Anybody can show up. Why doesn't that freaking call have 5,000 people on it? Because 5,000 people will pop in the Facebook and bitch and moan about product features, but they won't show up in the room to change the product features. Is there a little bit of frustration in my voice? Because it's in my head, okay? You don't get to bitch and complain about something if you don't play in the game or if you don't join the Zoom room. Sorry for the French. Wait, I took 2 years of French. That's definitely not French. But you don't get to whine and complain about something if you don't jump in and participate. Okay? Last example, and we can both get on with our day because I've got content to generate and I've got a life and I've got some big exciting things going on. Yesterday, first of all, if you weren't aware, and this may or may not be a humble brag, yeah, Charles said right here, usually only about 40 to 60 people are in the Zoom room, but only about 10 or so contribute. 10 or less contribute. The Facebook group, last time I checked, had over 100,000 people in it. I think on their website they say they have 300,000 users, but I know that number is growing fast. Very, very fast. 10 people plus the developer roadmap are guiding the direction of this product. I want to be one of those 10 people. Okay, really quick. I do a lot of local news stories. I did one last night. If you ever want to see Patrick on the news, just Google his name. As a matter of fact, the story, humble brag, if you go to kfor.com, look for the story on the homepage on the OU quarterback. There's a story about something the new OU quarterback, University of Oklahoma quarterback did here because we're in Oklahoma. I contributed to that news story, so you can see my face and the brief news clip there. So I'm regularly in newsrooms here, and being in a newsroom, if you know the way newsrooms work, it's more of like an open pit. It's not like a private office. Like once I walk into the newsroom floor, probably 30 or 40 people can see me, and I know some of them. I'll chat with some of them. Some of them are anchors. Some of them are field reporters. Some of them are producers. I just love going to news stations. But I went over there, did my bit where I get mic'd up and I give my commentary on technology and what this OU quarterback did, and then I asked to go visit a friend of mine, a producer in the room, and I won't use her name, just because I love her. I'm not quite sure if it's copacetic to use her name, but we had a conversation about a future opportunity, a future possible opportunity for Patrick Allmond to maybe possibly get more involved with being on air doing something. Now, I have no idea if it's going to come to fruition. But one of the things I've thought about over the years, because the news stations call and they're like, you have to come over now and do the story right now. And so basically I have to in my office, I'm dressed pretty much every day to be on the news, even though I'm only on the news maybe once every 3 or 4 months. I'm always dressed for it because they're like now, and because if I can't do it, they're going to call somebody else. So I have to be in that freaking room and be in that room fast when the news stations call. I've thought about giving up that opportunity before because it breaks up my day. It kills my productivity when a reporter calls and says, "Hey, Patrick, we've got this story on this OU quarterback and something he did on Venmo. Can you come over like in 10 minutes and give us a clip for this?" That is really a productivity killer, especially when I have meetings on my calendar. I have a lot of meetings on my calendar. And so yesterday I canceled a meeting for this, and I went over and I did the story. But imagine if I had taken that attitude of, I'm going to go ahead and stop going when the news stations call. Because there's other tech experts in the city. I love doing the work, but it gives me other opportunities. It's exposure. You know what? My face is now on the news website, and it sounds like hopefully there's another future opportunity coming up for a different kind of engagement, one that's going to benefit the news station and me. So I've got a double whammy here. Number one, I got to go visit a news station, which is always fun to do. A triple whammy. My face and name are on the homepage of the news website again. More exposure for me, and I'll grab that video footage. But the producer I talked to says there might be a future opportunity. Why? I was in the freaking room. And I probably have several examples of this. These are the ones I just wrote up as I was preparing for the show here. But I could go on and on and on about examples. So let's wrap this up. Try to put yourself in more rooms. And not necessarily physical rooms, but Zoom rooms that matter. Zoom rooms that matter for issues that are important to you. Obviously, you want more exposure online. Consider running ads for your business. Yes, you can call us to help. But exposure matters. Exposure, if you want to do big things down here at the bottom of your funnel, exposure happens up here at top of funnel. I'm always trying to get as much exposure as possible because I want more down here. Okay. Your funnel can't start tiny up here and then go straight down right here. If your funnel starts tiny up here, it's just going to get tinier and tinier down here. You want this freaking funnel to be huge, like Patrick Buff Jim arms huge. Okay. So you can have the opportunities down here. Okay. That's my rant for today. I feel I may have to do another show on this because there's some other things churning in my head as I talk about this. So for those of you that have watched, thank you very much for watching. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, please do me a favor. I will get on my hands and knees and beg if I have to. Subscribe over on YouTube and turn notifications on. Okay. Let's end the show here real quick with the Patrick rap, and then after that, I will cut the feed and we will be off. Then we will be off to have a really good day.
For Patrick. Stop doing nothing, kick it into action. Hit that subscribe for your boy Patrick. Hop into a live and see the value packed in, charging more up front while building out the back end. Cut from a different cloth, style in a different fashion. Niches you trick and find yours and then cash in. GHL badass, grow and get another SaaS win. Don't know how? Just hit Patrick up and ask him.
Oh my goodness, that's one of the best things ever. Have a great day, and thank you for watching. I love you.